Hello and welcome back to another weird video on a weird game. Let's go and load this save, which is in definitely not in February yet. Ba-boom. They were talking about their sister's sense of humor. There's no quality gossip in the bass anymore. Yeah. We read that. A prestigious visitor came yesterday wishing to consult with me on a regular basis. She wishes to study with me as a student of the stars. She hides her face with the hood of her expensive cloak, and she sits in the shadows. She arrives without warning, and two large slaves stood guard at my door, so we would not be interrupted. I wonder who she is. Definitely a rich person. Because if she wasn't rich, she wouldn't need protection. Pigs. I was roughly shoved aside by a Praetorian guard in the forum today. I hate the guard, and I hated the Praetorian prefect, Platian. He was a hateful man, and I'm pleased he is dead. Now that his conspiracy failed, I feel nothing but rage for him and his kind. They are oblivious to the results of their law and order. They are corrupt even by their own measure. I don't know if I was reading this. I don't think I was. I think when I clicked here, it actually advanced 2 days instead of just one. The nag, my wife Pomponia, dislikes my friendship with Cornelius. I explained that he comes from one of the oldest Patrician clans, and as it is, I haven't seen him in weeks. Late in the evening, Pomponia interrupted me again while I was working on the design plans for my new building. Or maybe I have read this. I vaguely remember this. It's always more with that woman. Now my mess is all wrong. I think I did read that. I'll click here to advance.
I am Sibyl, skilled in the stars and the signs of the earth. There is a calamitous loosed upon Rome, determined to destroy this great city. Romans, beware.
Yeah. Maybe we should read about cults then. Pretty much we've read the first page. The cult of Mithras. This is perhaps now the most widespread religion, other than that of Olympus. Also, I find it much more easy to read those short notes than like the big pages. I mean, I'm not saying I'm dyslexic, but it's just that I don't read often. That makes me slightly dyslexic more than I should be. But yeah, we should probably get through all the personal, what's it called, notebooks. So, the cult of Mithras. It began among the Persians, but it seems to differ from their original creed, as was revealed by the prophet Zoroaster and written down in their sacred book Zend Avesta. Zoroaster taught that the universe is ruled by two opposite principles, that of Ormuzd, the force of light, and Ahriman, the power of darkness, neither of which can defeat the other. Mithras is a mere helper to and the agent of the light. It was outside Persia and in more recent times that Mithras emerged as an incarnation of Sun, the sole savior from death, the god of initiation and mystery, promising eternal life. I also need to make sure I'm recording. I was actually recording something earlier today. Not anything related to gameplay, but it just stopped. I don't know why. Maybe I clicked the button and I didn't realize. So, the destroyer of the bull. It is said that in times immemorial, Mithras, the child of rock, gave up his own life while slaying the divine bull, from whose blood all things that live sprang. This great fear, the Tauroctony, is portrayed on all his altars, signifying life through death and triumph over death and evil. The Mithraic temples resemble caves, since it was in the cave that the bull was primordially caught, and someday that, as a part of the rite, the neophytes have to bathe in a bull's blood. The initiations consist of 7 grades and involve tests and ordeals to purify the soul, so that after that it can be saved and returned to heaven from its earthly stay. The Mithraist community. The worship of Mithras is confined to men. It is especially frequent among merchants and soldiers. They come together in their temples and share meals, not unlike the Christians. The Mithraic cult flourishes here in Rome and in cities as distant as Carthage and Londinium. But I heard that it is above all popular in the northern and western provinces near the frontier. The emperors tolerate this creed, since it does not interfere with the official practices, and it is claimed that Nero and Commodus took great interest in it and even became followers. Isis and Osiris. This is a popular cult of Egypt origin, which became official in some part of the empire. I wonder why it enjoys so many followers. Perhaps because it centers around the figure of Isis, the mother goddess, with the child. Their rites are conducted by Egyptian priests who preside over festive banquets. Sometimes I try to read stuff so that it makes sense. I will try to do that, but some words I don't know how to pronounce, and it just completely destroys the flow of the sentence. And then when they put these dashes in the middle of a sentence, it could be like a complete side sentence, and it just, in this case, it never stops, and it just goes to the end of the sentence. I don't know. Their rites are conducted by Egyptian priests who preside over festive banquets. I heard that the initiation over their mysteries is an elaborate reenactment of the ancient city in which the god Osiris was slain by his wicked brother Set, his body cut into pieces and scattered. Osiris's wife, Isis, wandered throughout the earth, collecting every part of her husband's corpse to make it whole, and after their son Horus avenged his mother, Osiris came back to life. The Great Mother. Worshipped first in Asia, Cybele, the mother of the gods. So this is one of those side sentences, just like the one I'm just saying right now, completely off script. Is a frightening deity in a tower-like crown, and riding on a chariot that is dragged by wild lions. She is worshipped through orgiastic rites, and her priest, called Gali or Corybantes, are driven into a frenzy to the point of castrating themselves, as according to the story, that Cybele's youthful lover, Attis, fearful of her powers. At the same time, Cybele is the source of fertility and the mistress of wild nature. Well, that's pretty ironic that you would castrate yourself for mistress of fertility. She sends and curses. She sends and cures diseases, gives oracles, and protect her people in war. Right? In various places her cult mixed with others, and in milder form it was accepted in Rome under the Republic and continues to thrive. Judaism. The Jewish religion is among the most ancient. They believe in only one God, whose name it is forbidden to utter, and who created the heaven and the earth. Their sacred writings tell the story of the first man and woman made by the gods out of clay, who lived in a garden of eternal bliss, but disobeyed the God and were exiled to become mortals. The Jews claim that the God promised their ancestor Abraham to favor them as his own chosen people, and they circumcised their boys, strange though it may seem, to remind them of that covenant. They are able people and follow numerous prescriptions on how to behave and worship attributed to their great lawgiver Moses. The Mosaic Law. The Jews say that in the distant past they were slaves in the land of Egypt, and that their God commanded the man Moses to lead them out of captivity and across the desert. Moses did, and the God talked to him again on Mount Sinai and instructed him to write down 10 commandments, such as "Thou shalt not kill," or "Thou shalt not steal," and also teach his people of the deity and sexual practices they must avoid. After 40 years of wandering, the Jews arrived at the land that the God is said to have promised to them forever. They fought their neighbors and founded a mighty kingdom under 2 kings, David and Solomon, whom their God loved. Right. The Jews and the Romans. The Jewish God was angry at the disobedience of his people and delivered them into the hands of the Babylonians, the Persians, the Macedonians, and finally, after a period of independence, to the Romans. Rome allowed Judea to be ruled by kings or tetrarchs, but after Vespasian quelled a Jewish revolt, he made Judea a province. Jews outside Palestine live in close quarters and are often disliked by the Greeks, who detest their customs. The Romans consider them a nuisance since they refuse to worship the official gods, but unlike the Christians, the Jews have an excuse in the ancient origin of their faith and are tolerated, although forbidden to accept converts. Alright. Christianity, the newest cult. These perhaps are the strangest believers of all. They worship a carpenter called Jesus who worked many miracles and was crucified in Judea under the Emperor Tiberius for reasons which now seem to me obscure. They claim that this man is actually the God, or the son of the God, the Jewish God, I mean, and that by his cruel death he somehow redeemed all our transgressions and brought about the salvation of the human race. His followers argue that his coming was prophesied in Hebrew scriptures, that he resurrected from the dead, ascended to heaven, and will soon come again to judge the living and the dead before the end of the world. The Christian Church. Jesus, known as Christ, was a man in flesh and blood. The writings of those who knew him are averred by the Christians, his disciples and immediate followers, under the name of the apostles, rapidly spread the faith in him, especially among the poor. A man named Paul traveled widely and preached their gospel, the good news, not only among the Jews but also to the Gentiles. The Christians all seem simple, noble, and pious folk who speak of universal brotherhood and regularly meet for the Eucharist, sharing bread and wine, which for them means to partake in the body and blood of their crucified teacher. Why the Christians are persecuted? It is because of their language of the Eucharist and their calling each other sister and brothers, while speaking of love as the divine law, that their enemies accuse Christians of cannibalism and incest. I don't know how to pronounce this one. Most of this seems rather accurate. The Roman authorities harass them as atheists because they deny other divinities except the one of whom Christ is the Son, and refuse to participate in the state rituals and sacrifice before the images of the gods and the emperors. Nero was the first to persecute Christians and falsely accused them of setting Rome on fire, or setting Rome to fire. Many of those they call martyrs, the witnesses for the faith, perished then and later, but are believed to have joined Christ in the afterlife. Right, so that was rather interesting. The Zodiacs. I mean, that should only be like 12, right? Maybe even less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm a genius. Should we read that? I mean, of course we should read it, but should we read it right now? Of course we should. Right, let's go. Zodiac number 1. Aries. Minerva's spirit runs through the man and the woman born under these stars that look like the ram. This is a special ram, the one with the golden fleece that so many search for. It was fleeced and then sacrificed to Jupiter, and now lives among the stars. Those born under this sign are full of hope. Nothing stops them from moving forward, and much does get in their way. They have success and wealth, but will not keep it long. The constant desire to do the fire burns strong in them. This energy comes because the new year begins in the spring, the season of the rain, the season of their sign. I don't know how much is true for the zodiacs, because I have no idea about zodiacs and I don't care to know. But we'll just read this. The Taurus. The bull is strong in these men and women. This is because when the stars for Taurus rise, the farmers put the yokes of their ox and on their ox and ready their bulls for mating. The Taurus man and woman have Venus with them always. This makes them love being in love. The women inspire men and help them conquer their fears, but those of this sign are slow to move like the bull, and that is why they stay fixed on their ideas. Nothing can make them change their opinions. Gemini. The twin gods Castor and Pollux are their stars. The Gemini are not lovers, a war, and criminals like the twin gods. They like a calm life with much pleasure. They are thinkers who look to know the skies and many ideas. They are good at many things and can do a lot because they are two people in one. All twins are very fruitful. Apollo rides through the sky and watches over the ones born in this month that brings in Aistas, the season of great warmth. Cancer. Mercury guides the man and woman ruled by the crab. They are clever and make good merchants. They have a skill for making money. No chance to increase their wealth is missed. Much of their drive comes from the strength of the crab who bit Hercules at Juno's order, but was killed by the great hero and returned to the sky. So strong are their feelings for friends that they do not let things or people go easily. Leo, the man and woman led like Jupiter, who watches their sign. They lead like Jupiter. They have a strong will, clear thoughts, and a temper as quick as the god Jupiter. They are proud like the lion, and so they do not change for others. It is others who must bend. Fire, their intuition, burns brightly in them and keeps their hearts honest. They are reliable and smart. Virgo. The Virgin Aragon brings in the season of autumnus and guides the men and women born under her stars. She was a noble and pious girl. She hanged herself when she found her father, Icarus, dead, murdered by his guests. Men born under Virgo study the laws well. They are most skilled in finding answers to puzzling questions or mysterious events. They also speak well in public, even though they are sometimes shy. They also have a love for the earth, because the goddess Ceres watches over them, and the earth that changes in this month. Libra. The sign of Libra is in the shape of scales. This is why those born to this time are good at the laws and make good judges. They know right from wrong. They also like to know small facts that not many want to know. Vulcan watches them. Marriage and friendship are important to them, and they work hard to make them strong. They worry about more than just themselves, but everyone in their lives and the world. It is this that also makes them good at making decisions in the courts. Scorpio. The string of the scorpion is always with those born under the sign of Scorpio. The sting, okay. The men are driven to war and battles even in times of peace. This makes them good hunters too. They like the war because Mars watches over the man and the woman born in this month. Mars gives them his spirit. This is right, since their birth month is the time of the Armilustrium. Some say they have a special power. They can travel to the world of the dead and return, bringing news from the dark world. This is also why some say they tell good fortunes, or they're good at fortune telling. Sagittarius. The man and woman in this month like to be with Diana, free to hunt or walk outside. It is why their sign is an archer. It is a lucky sign because they have the energy from fire and change to meet new things. Their stars also mark the start of hymns, the cold and stormy season. Many think they have much in common with the centaur, the half-man, half-horse creature, because they tame wild horses well. It is skill, much praised by the military and farmers. I'm pretty sure I read this sign in particular, but we just read it again. Capricorn. I'm pretty sure I read this one also because of the Vesta temple. The goddess Vesta is with those born under the sign of Capricorn in all that they do. It is her fire that leads them to certain tasks. They often work with gold and silver because it takes much heat to melt these metals. They are also individuals who always search for a better life. This is why they change their minds so easily and so often. It is easy for others to lead Capricorns from their chosen path. The goldfish is the shape of their stars. Aquarius. Just 2 more. 1 sec. Aquarius. The green goddess Juno watches the man and woman born under these stars. She gives them the power to find springs that are underground. They do a lot with changing the flow of the water. The man and the woman are thinkers who take care before they speak or act, but they look to the future for the freedom it brings. It is hard for them to change after seeing the future because they are so fixed. Their stars are in the shape of Ganymede and Jupiter, with the powerful god pouring water from his amphora into the stars Eridanus. Piscis. Neptune watches these children of the fish, but the fish in the sky are not from the sea. They remind us of Venus and Cupid, who turned into 2 fish when a giant typhoon attacked them. The Piscis love the sea. They are good on ships and can follow the stars very well. They will have many generations because their children are very fertile. Right. Time. The old calendar. I'm pretty sure I read this one with the weird maybe not this one. Naming of the months, the new calendar, the days of the months. I think I read this one. I'm pretty sure I read all about the time. So that's a relief. So maybe we'll just continue with the story for now. And then next time we'll continue reading for Xanthus stuff. I think I did read about the forum. I think I read all of these words from Gordian. Then there's maps, there's measures. Secret Woods, I'm pretty sure I read that. Literature and Theater, I think I read that too. If I don't, then let me know, I guess. These are a lot of pages though. Aqueducts of Rome. Absolute nonsense. Our citizens today have wild imaginations and very little understanding of the basic of hydraulics and large-scale engineering. I have also to issue official denials of the rumors that Nero had constructed a large diameter underground conduct from the reservoir on the Palatine Hill to the temple of David Julius via the private bathhouse built onto the Palatine under the Via Nova staircase. Perhaps these rumors are being spread by the subversive elements in our society, even if it were true that a great volume of water could be diverted from the reservoir to flood the forum. The Cloaca Maxima can safely drain off any amount of water to the Tiber. I'm not sure if I was reading all of this. I think I was. I think I've read all of the Gordian stuff, and now I just read all of Sybil's stuff today as well. So we'll just continue here. There's also Acta Diurna, new post. Murderous plot exposed. The Senatus Consultum de Platiano Tradiore, the senatorial degree of Platian the traitor. On the 10th day before the calends of February, in the consulship of Caesar M. Aurelius Antonius Augustus, son of the emperor, and Caesar P. Septimius Geta, son of the emperor, to the 13th year of the emperor Caesar L. Septimus Severus Pius Augustus, Arabicus Parsicus, most fortunate and most powerful Pontifex Maximus, father of the fatherland, blah 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 blah. This transpired to the Senate Curia, which is on the forum. So this means literally nothing on the first page. I don't know why I've even read that. It was reported to the Senate that, thanks to the grace of God, the conspiracy to murder the sacred persons of the Emperor Septimius Severus, his lady wife Julia Augusta, together with their son Antoninus Augustus and Geta Caesar, have been exposed and thwarted. Upon the conclusion of the games celebrating the festival of the mains at the Palatine, the imperial family, in the midst of the preparations for the dinner, have been provided with the incontrovertible evidence of treachery on the part of Fulvius Plautianus. Inflamed by insane ambition, not content with his status and as Praetorian prefect, spiteful of the multiple honors and benefactions bestowed upon him, as well as the sacrament of allegiance, that villain has instructed and sent assassins to the palace in a vain hope of seizing, by means of the abominable crime, the supreme power. Summoned to the august presence and confronted with the proof of his betrayal, he failed to refute it, and, by the order of the emperor, was executed on the spot. The emperor personally addressed the senators and inquired for their views about further measures needed to eradicate the remains of treason. In consequence, after a series of deliberations, the Senate decreed, item, the public thanksgiving be ordered to the gods for the duration of 3 days to commemorate the salvation of the empire. Item, that the state of emergency be declared and the Emperor be authorized to ensure that no detriment occurs to the body politic. Nequi rai replik. Well, whatever. So what does this mean? So we need to thank the gods for 3 days. And there is a state of emergency. Item, that the memory of the traitor and parricide Platianus be publicly cursed. He is posthumously to be stripped of all honors and offices, and his estate made forfeit. His statues and images are to be overthrown, and his name erased from every official document. Item, that the officers of the guard and the servants of the imperial household be commended for their loyalty. Item, that this senatorial decree be inscribed in stone and bronze and exhibited for public view in all major cities of the empire. Lucius, the attempted coup. I've learned that Plautian, prefect of the Praetorian Guard, had led a conspiracy against the emperor. It doesn't sound plausible, since Plautian has been with Severus the longest of his advisors. But it's too late to question Plautian. He has been killed. I see Caracalla's hand in this. He has the most to gain from Plautian's death. The Senate met in a special session. I'd wager 1,000,000 sesterces if I had it, that I will find work because of these events. Right. Emperor Severus will survive. I made a special sacrifice of a ram for the emperor today. After the attempted coup by Plautian, the Praetorian prefect, I prayed to Vesta at her shrine that the emperor be kept safe and the city protected. I trembled as I remembered. That brief encounter with Plautian in the palace and his crude advances. I haven't told a living soul. Surely there is no connection. Plautian has already been executed. No one will know. This is already read. Very good. State of emergency. Rejoice, Quirites. I don't know what to say that. I have no idea how to say that. The gods watch over the welfare of the empire. The evil schemer is cut down, and the danger to the state is no more. The monster's accomplices are being rounded up, and will shortly stand trial. The rumor of further executions is grossly exaggerated, since, according to the law, everyone accused is entitled to an opportunity for fair exercise of justice. The palace announced that the state of emergency will continue as long as it is needed to obliterate all traces of treason. Insane. The edicts of the emperor blah 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 blah. Yeah. 1. The number of cohorts in the capital of the empire is to be doubled in order to prevent further disturbances that might be possible, creating be possibly created by the potential malefactors. 2. Our friend and companion, Amicus ac Comus, Aemilius Papianius, the learned jurisconsultus, is presently appointed the prefect of the Praetorian Guard with the rank of Ver Eminentissimus. He will share the office with Quintus Maecius Halatus, of similar rank. Third, on the grounds of their parents' crimes and abominations, Plautius the Younger and Fulvia Plautilla, upon the annulment of the latter's marriage to our son Antoninus Augustus, are to be banished to the island of Lipara, and there confined to strict custody, which their estate confiscated by the imperial treasury.
Before he was killed, Plautian unleashed a saboteur on the city. The Sibyllus dubbed him Calamitous. Papinian, the new Praetorian prefect, has hired me to investigate this Calamitous. He's paying me twice my usual fee, but there is so much at stake I can't think of only the money. If I can find out who this Calamitous is and stop him, then maybe I can restore my family honor.
Insane. So many actua jure now. At least this one is only one page. The expert opinion. The priestly college of the Arval brothers, Fratres Arvalis, met at the capital and offered prayers to the safety of the sacred imperial family and preservation of the state. A white bull was sacrificed to Jupiter and 4 cows to Juno, Minerva, the goddess of public safety, and Concord. It was concluded that the divine agencies are fully satisfied with the expiatory measures, and that there can be no other danger in the foreseeable future. Consequently, all sorts of alarmist rumor about some imminent calamity threatening the city are without foundation and must be treated as treasonous and subversive of public order. Castor and Pollux, the festival of the Dioscuri, is today. Twin sons from different fathers, one mortal, one immortal. Castor was son of Leda and her husband, King Tyndarus of Sparta. Pollux was the son of Leda, and Zeus was disguised as a swan. The twins are the protectors of men at sea. They appear to them in storms as strange lights in the sky, watching over them and guiding them to safe harbor. The priests from the temple of Castor and Pollux returned their holy objects to us after the sacrifice today of 2 white bulls. Eureka! I found Gordian's strongbox in the temple of Castor and Pollux, but he has changed the combination. I hope my treatise is not in there. If Gordian has found the treatise, why would he suspect me, his premier worker? Maybe I can deflect attention to that Carthaginian Hanno. I must use all that wiles I have acquired on my adventure. So his treatise is in Gordian's strongbox? I'm confused. Anyway, I think that should be it for today. Thanks for watching, and see you another time.